Please be seated. This morning we just heard the farewell sermon of Moses in Deuteronomy. It lasts 26 chapters. You're lucky. Mine only goes for 25. We hear these words of Moses from the edge of promise. Remember, Moses does not enter into the promised land. He stays and dies on the other side of the Jordan. And from these words from the edge of promise, we hear choose life. Choose life and prosperity, or choose death and adversity. That's what God has told Moses to say. Now, this part of Deuteronomy, tradition has it that it was written by Moses, but in reality, at least this part, was probably not written until the exile, when they had time to look back. Looking back is 2020, as we say. Hindsight is 2020. They had time to look back and to see that they did not choose life. They did not keep the covenant. That they are now in exile. The northern kingdom fell to Assyria, and then later the southern kingdom fell to Babylon. The reason? They have rejected the living God, the big God, the God who loves them, who loved them, loves them still, the God who loves us. They had rejected that God and followed small gods, small, dead gods that lead to adversity. Choose life and prosperity, or choose death and adversity. That's what we heard from Moses today. And this is a question before us every day, multiple times a day, both as individuals and corporately. Every day, we have the opportunity to decide whether we will serve a small dead God or the living God, the God that loves us. If we are offended and end relationship because friends or family have not voted the way we thought they should have voted, we have chosen a small, dead God. If you think that Hillary Clinton would have been our Savior and everything would be okay now, if she had just won, you've chosen a small, dead God. If you think Donald Trump is our Savior and that everything will be okay, that choosing the right Supreme Court justice will be okay now. If that's what you think, then you too have chosen a small, dead God. We are Christians. Our faith is in the covenant we have with God, the living God. If our baseline is our political discourse, we have chosen a small, dead God by which to lead us to our own promised land of adversity. If we as Christians let fear of the other erect walls, both big ones far away, and there's those very little suffocating ones that we build around us, often called echo chambers, then we have chosen a small, dead God. If we have chosen torture over respecting the dignity of every human being, then we have chosen a small, dead God. If we ignore the human causes of a hurting planet because we find it convenient to do so, then we worship a small, dead God, one that only brings death and adversity. If we refuse to apologize and kill relationship for ego's sake, and I know of what I speak, if we know the other person, even if we know the other person is mostly at fault, but we don't seek to mend relationship, then we have chosen a small, dead God. If it is our belief that our salvation comes from a gun, even if there are over 30,000 gun deaths per year, 2,700 of which are children, then we have chosen a small, dead God. Truly, we have chosen death. If it is our belief that allowing the state to kill in our name for retributive justice, and that that's acceptable to us, then we have chosen a small, dead God, choosing death. And it's not just these decisions, these big decisions we hear about in the news. We have choices all day, all week. And some seem pretty petty, but are indicative of a larger picture. If we constantly choose TV or anything that numbs our minds and numbs our hearts over relationship and fellowship, then the small, dead God has our obeisance. Brett Younger, an associate professor of preaching at the McAfee School of Theology in Atlanta, puts it this way: the choices are not usually labeled life and death. Most of our decisions do not seem important, but life and death are before us every day. We choose death when we ignore God and choose anything inferior. Death is a slow process of giving ourselves to what does not matter. Don't you find that statement intriguing? Death is a slow process of giving ourselves to what does not matter. When we all succumb, and we all will, to clinical death, won't it be a shame? Won't it be a travesty that maybe we will have already died before that time? Look around you, and as you've heard me say before, the zombie apocalypse, at least in our culture, appears to have already happened. And many of us, both inside and outside the church, are dead, but we're walking. So how do we choose life? How did Moses in his sermon tell us to choose life? Choose life so that you and your descendants may live, loving the Lord your God, obeying Him and holding fast to Him. For that means life to you and length of days, so that you may live in the land that the Lord swore to give to your ancestors, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. But you might say, I don't want to live in Palestine. It was the promise of God to Abraham that God loved him and his people and would take care of them. That is the land we seek. It is our covenant at baptism, the call that Christ makes to us every day. That is our land, the land of the living. And this promise that God gives to us is very close to us. It's there for us right now. All we have to do is to apologize to those we have offended, forgive those who seek our forgiveness, invite those we have cut off back into relationship, work towards justice for those who are impoverished and falsely maligned, protect the alien in our midst. I think it's over 500 times that in Scripture God tells us, protect the alien. Protect the stranger who finds themselves in your land. Now we can seek not to do that and worship the small dead god, or we can choose to protect them and worship the living God. And we can speak out against mass deportations. We can worship the living God by having mercy on those who find themselves in owed circumstance. For those who show mercy will receive mercy. Christians, or those seeking God, must get above this caustic level that we set for our culture. And it's hard because we hear it all day long, that constant drumbeat of us versus them versus us. As Christians, we have a set of principles that we are to work off of. Not campaign promises or rhetoric. If you follow those on the left, those on the right, those in the center, those center left, those center right, then you're following a small, dead God. We have promises made to us by God, by the living God, not the God of ego. And believe me, I followed that God before. And it leads to death and adversity. The good thing, though, the good news, and it is good news, is that when we make those decisions to follow a small dead God instead of the living God, God welcomes us back. God loves us. God loves us when we don't love God. Choose life and prosperity. And prosperity is not gold doubloons raining from heaven, or wealth, unimaginable wealth. Prosperity for God is that there's enough. There is enough. And that all have equal access to it. what prosperity is for God. Choose life and prosperity. Return from exile. The choice is ours to make.